means it is really, really healthy. So you can see that these flowers are thriving. If flowers and plants, if they get a lot of water, and if they're in good soil and they get sunshine, they are going to thrive. They are going to grow. They are going to produce flowers. They are going to be healthy. The same with children and people. If you feed kids well, they will thrive. They will grow and be healthy and happy. But definitely you can see that the person who's growing these plants took care of them because they wanted them to thrive. They wanted them to grow and be happy and to be healthy. They wanted them to thrive. And then, of course, to bloom. So it's kind of fun because we have a lot of flowers blooming on our farm right now. So a plant will grow. There will be a stem and there will be green leaves. And if it's a flowering plant, eventually it will bloom. Eventually there will be a bud. And when the bud opens, we use the verb to bloom. So you can see here, if you look at the very far side, there's a sunflower that's closed. And in a day or two, as a professional flower farmer, I'm going to say in 2 days, it will bloom. It will open and it will look like these other flowers. And just so you know, we also call that a bloom. So the sunflower is going to bloom and then there will be a bloom. Hopefully that made some sense. Sometimes the verbs work as nouns as well. To tower. If you look in the distance, you'll see mountains in this picture. And these mountains tower over the town below. Whenever we say something towers, we mean that it's really, really tall, okay? So mountains can tower over a valley below. Even large buildings can tower over smaller buildings. And you can sometimes have a tower, like use it as a noun and say that it towers. So you could use the noun verb. The CN Tower towers over the Rogers Center where the Blue Jays play. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing. But to simplify, these mountains tower over this little town. So they're in the distance and they're really tall and they're really, really big. So they tower over the village below. To pool. So when it rains a lot, sometimes the water will pool in places where it normally isn't. What I mean by that is this isn't a pond. This isn't a puddle. This is someone's yard. This is their lawn. And it has rained so much that the water has started to pool in this area. Eventually it will go away, but it's usually a sign that a place has gotten more rain than normal, okay? Here, if it rains for 2 or 3 days, water will start to pool in different places on our property. You'll see water in places where it doesn't normally lay. And so we use the verb to pool. So if it rains a lot, water will start to pool. And again, this isn't the same as a puddle. A puddle is a place where, if it rains for 10 minutes, there's some water in the puddle. This is more like it rained for 2 days and water is starting to pool in different areas. Sometimes not good areas at all. To melt. So obviously when water is really cold, below 0 degrees Celsius, it will freeze. And then if it goes above 0 degrees Celsius, it will melt. So here you can see ice turning into water as it melts. This is actually a bit of a problem in the world right now. As the world changes a bit, we are starting to see things melt that normally don't melt. So when water turns from ice to liquid, when it turns from a solid to a liquid, we use the verb to melt. It's really warm out today. The snow or ice is going to melt later. To emerge. So when you put a seed in the ground and when you water that seed and when it gets some warmth, if the soil is warm enough, it will germinate and then it will sprout. It will emerge from the ground. sorry, let me get my facts straight here. It will germinate, so it will put out it'll start to grow as a seed under the ground, which is the same as sprouting, and then it will eventually emerge from the ground. For me as a farmer, this is my happiest time after I plant a crop. When the crop starts to emerge, when the plants start to emerge from the ground, I'm very, very happy because it means the seed got enough moisture and it was warm enough that it started to grow, and then eventually it pops out of the ground. Eventually it will emerge from the soil and start growing vigorously. Hopefully it will then thrive. To sway. So trees can sway